Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about The Rain, Season 1, Episode 1. It's called Stay Inside. Not that IMDb told me that, because they don't have the titles yet. I had to go to Wikipedia, the lazy buggers. What is it with these foreign shows on Netflix? No one updates on IMDb like this quickly.
Probably would have been just as quick to just open Netflix and see.
Probably
It
the
would have
same.
been in your recently watched.
Anyway, so what is this show? It's another foreign Netflix original. It's a Danish Netflix original. And we're actually kind of mad at Netflix for giving us more shows that look interesting on the same days as others. And when we're still working through another Netflix show from last week, that's 3%, a Brazilian Netflix show, Dear White People Season 2, launched the same day as this. Busy. But we had to check it out because it is a post-apocalyptic show from Denmark, which is... first of all, we're into science fiction, we're into post-apocalyptic stuff. It's like, oh, I've not seen a Danish TV show before. I want to check this out. What is this? So we're having a look at it. We're going to see what the first episode's like. We'll start this spoiler-free because it is an episode 1, and then we'll go into spoilers somewhere in the middle, and we'll give you warning as to when. And you can, of course, get this on our Netflix review audio feed. You can check our... if you go to our Patreon, mailfuzz.com/Patreon, or Patreon TV/mailfuzz. Patreon TV... No, patreon.com/mailfuzztv. That's the one.
Oh my god, this is going to be a long night.
I didn't get a whole lot of sleep. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna pretend. There's a link in the description. The point is at the top of that has links to all the audio feeds and all the video playlists and everything else for your convenience. Now, The Rain is a post-apocalyptic event that comes through the rain. Now, admittedly, it's not very clear if this is worldwide or just in the surrounding European area.
Yeah, there's the name of a city or town or whatever it is there that they keep using as this is where it's starting.
Yeah, so we don't know what the spread is like, but it starts with the rain, hence the title of the show. Something comes down in the rain. And the first episode is largely about this father who knows about it, seems to be a scientist integral to what's going on, gets his daughter and his son and rushes them off to a bunker, a safe house, if you will, underground, which is set up to, block out any... I don't want to call it radiation because I call it a virus, but block out any contamination, keep them inside safe, and they're in there, and that's kind of the first episode. That's kind of the premise of the show, is that we have to live and survive this virus that's been spread through the rain, which is basically instantly making people sick and killing them.
Yeah, which not a fan of that. If it is a virus, which they do keep calling, oh, I got a bit of water on me. Oh, okay. Instant death. If it's a virus, that makes no sense to me.
You get fast acting viruses.
Not that fast. You don't. Look, I know some people have a bad immune system, but no one's is that bad.
Like science fiction show, just go with it.
I know.
It's a made up virus. This doesn't exist.
I know, but just don't tell me it's a virus. Just tell me it's something else, and I'll go with it.
Okay. But that's the spoiler-free plot synopsis, and yeah. So I guess I'll ask the question: how did you feel? Did you enjoy episode 1?
It's all right. There's things I like. I think overall it's a bit bland. I don't know yet what it's offering me. In this genre, what's it offering me that I haven't seen elsewhere?
Yeah, that's fair. I think I would say this is maybe the first of its kind I've seen in a TV show, if that makes sense. Like, I've seen something like 10 Cloverfield Lane. That whole movie's in a bunker. That's kind of what it is. I don't think I've seen a TV show version of this, at least in the same way. Certainly, you have TV shows where they're in like a safe area or something like that, but not typically. They literally can't go outside or they'll die. At least I can't think of one off the top of my head.
No, I suppose not.
Even in something like The Walking Dead, they're traveling occasionally to other places and things like that.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, this show might turn into that, of course, but at least from this first episode, we're sort of full bunker.
We are.
So, I thought it was not bad. I thought it suffered from some pilotitis, which is weird because I don't typically expect that from Netflix shows.
No, that's true.
But there was a couple of moments where I feel like, oh, we're kind of rushing a little bit of exposition here.
Yeah. My one other real problem that I have, beyond just, it's not... something being bland and not offering anything new is not necessarily its own fault. It's like, okay, it can get there. It's episode 1.
Yeah.
But something I genuinely have a problem with is there's this really obvious plot thread that they keep going, hey, we're going to keep reminding you about this. come on, you need to know this. I'm like, all right, I get it. I get where you're going with this. Just stop telling me about it 6 times in the first episode.
That was very much on the nose. I will say that, because after they said it once, I went, oh, okay, that's a little mystery to series for the rest of the season, and then they mentioned it like 7 times after that as well.
I kind of got sick of it by the end. I'm like, all right, fine, shut up about it. It's a mystery, but it loses any mystique when you just keep shouting it at me.
Yeah, I think what it's got going for it is the actors. There are 2 main characters essentially, Simone and Rasmus, brother and sister. They're pretty good. Big sister, she gets kind of likable as the episode goes on. I will say, I mean, I don't think it's much of a spoiler to say there's a bit of a time jump, because I think if you see any trailers for the show, who is, Rasmus is a young kid for most of the first episode, but you see that if you see a trailer for the show, he's much older in the rest of it, so there is a bit of a time jump. I will say they did a good job of casting a young actor who looks like the older actor who
they did
comes in to play him.
I am glad there was a time jump, because the young actor was not as much as he looked exactly like.
Oh,
him,
yeah,
okay, yeah. Like when the transition was seamless. Don't get me wrong. The acting, on the other hand, not the best.
Yeah, a kid actor.
Exactly.
It didn't strike me as particularly awful for a kid, though.
It wasn't atrocious, but it was bad enough that I was going, okay, this is a kid actor.
Yeah, okay. That never stuck out to me. I thought their chemistry was pretty reasonable, and I thought she was doing a pretty good job of kind of holding the show and being the sort of the main thing. My problem with the time jump is more that once it got going into like sort of, you got like a montage essentially showing the time passing over these years, and once it got to that point, I felt like it was brushing over some things where I was like, oh no, I'd be kind of interested in like seeing more of like learning how to like run this place and seeing more of like what's the survival elements.
Yeah, because they don't really know what they're doing. They're just going, oh hey, this is here, that'll do.
There's basically like it shows you that on like the tablet that's in there's like an instruction manual for everything, and it's like okay, all right, fine. But I would have kind of liked, as someone who sometimes like not fears learning something new, but when I'm doing something new for the first time and I'm not sure what I'm doing, I worry that I'm going to mess it up and I'm not going to. And I feel like in this situation where literally it's like, changing the air filters which let us breathe. Like I feel like there's maybe be some
tension in that,
some stress in that the first time she does it.
Yeah.
Maybe
even things like so they're both pretty young when they go in there. Even the older sister, she's not that old.
Yeah, 16, 17, something like that.
Right. So they're going, okay, this is the amount of food you've got. This is your rations, that'll last you however long. That'll be in the instruction manual. Fine.
Yeah.
Is there a point where they go, screw that, we're eating more? Because, they're basically kids. They're free reign.
Maybe. I don't know. They kind of gloss over all this.
Right. There's all this stuff there that I'm like, there's a lot of fun potential in there.
It's kind of funny, actually, because... and don't get me wrong, I don't think the whole show could be this in this time period, but I'm thinking maybe a couple of episodes before the time jump would have maybe worked.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny because you see like her hair gets short at one point, and then she just kind of walks into a room and like now the 15, 16-year-old version of Rasmus is like weightlifting, and I'm like, who's this dude? Oh, it's just okay, it's been a time jump because she doesn't actually look any older. All in fact, she's cut her hair.
Yeah. I think it's because they do it through a relatively stylish montage with the flowers, and they stop after one and take some time and show you that it's been a year, give or take.
Yeah, because he's got a birthday. Yeah.
Right, yeah. And it's one cycle of plants, and then it kind of just happens, and you go, and then it's like, oh, okay, we jumped a fair bit there.
Yeah, and I also think there's like there was maybe more to explore. I mean, again, there might be more of this in future episodes, but there's probably more in that time to explore with their relationship and how kind of weird it might have been that she's been forced into this more motherly role, and because there's a scene later on where she's helping him shave, and it's kind of a weird scene. I'm like, is she like really like not self-dependent? Because I mean, at that age, I was shaving on my own, and
right.
And for the record, I never get taught how to shave. I just did it. It was just it's fairly self-explanatory, to be honest.
A razor and you scrape it.
Yeah, maybe you don't do it as well at first, but you get the hang of it pretty quickly. You do it a few times and you pick it up.
Yeah, I honestly feel like her shaving him is probably going to give him more cuts than him just doing it himself.
And it felt like this really weird scene. Like, did they have like this weird like dependent relationship? And I was wondering, maybe there's more to this. Maybe there's more to explore here with like how much, because, you know, keep in mind, like, he went in there at age 10, 11, whatever he was. It was his birthday, it was the first cake, so...
so that was his 11th.
So he was 10 when he went in. Who knows how long that was before the birthday, but... Like, and I'm like, okay, so he was, you know, not very far in school, relatively speaking. So she's having to presumably teach him sort of basic things, you know, like maybe make his math skills a little bit better so that he can actually help with things, make his, you know, writing skills a little bit better so he can help with things, you know, basic fundamental skills.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe there's something there to that as well. I don't know. There's lots of little things that it kind of glosses over by just montaging through it.
Yeah, and do you know what it did? Make me feel that most of this episode, given that it does just gloss over all that stuff, most of this episode that is, you know, before that time jump, I think should have been flashbacks.
Yeah, I might agree with that, especially since it feels like the rest of the show is probably going to just be like, you know, now going forward. And that's the premise of the show. It almost feels like this entire first episode was almost just prologue and setup for it, which is fine. And we've said this before, though. I do think that there's a potential to just hit us when they're already in it, right? Hit us when, you know, because ultimately the premise of this episode is that they're running out of food. And I still don't think we're in spoiler territory. I think the only real spoilers in this episode, other than some details of how things happen,
at the very ending,
is the very last couple of minutes. But it's basically, okay, we're going to run out of food, we're going to have to make the choice to leave and go find somewhere else, right? We're going to have to do that. Is it safe outside? We don't know, blah, blah, blah. And that stuff's fine, like, you know, when all the tension of is it safe outside, all that stuff works. That's you know, solid survival stuff. But you could, you know, hit the ground running, have the premise at the start of the first episode be, we're running out of food, and we slowly learn, okay, why are we in here? And we maybe slowly build the mystery of it.
Just start me in this bunker with the two people.
And then, you know, gradually gets... Because you could get a lot more of it out of just having flashbacks. If you have a few every episode, maybe, that are relevant.
Yeah, and it wouldn't feel like one just big dump at the start.
Yeah. Because I was actually enjoying it until it hit the... I mean, well, I was enjoying it afterwards, but it was when it hit the montage where I was like, oh, no, I was kind of liking the slow build of, like, you know, realising we're down here now. And I was fine for that to continue for a bit and learn all the various things. But instead it sort of just rushed through the end, and I went, well, at this point I'd wish they just kind of made the whole thing like various flashbacks. Whereas if they'd made this like a trilogy of episodes and give it a bit more time and room to breathe and explore a few more things,
then it doesn't. Obviously, when you were watching it, like the pacing of it is like, yeah, okay, this is fine, this makes sense, and then suddenly we're jumping forward. I'm like, okay, so why was that all there like that? If we're not going to explore any of these things, if we're not going to continue that. It kind of feels really strange to have it like this to me. And
yeah, because I think with the pacing of the first like half of the episode, give or take, or slightly more than half, I was expecting the end of the episode to be, we're going to be down here a long time. Like that realization, like this is not, you know, we're not going to be out of here in like a week or a month. Like this is going to take a while. You know, I was expecting that downer of an ending, and that would lead us into next episode, where next episode, you know, episode 2 would be the, okay, now we get into the fact that this is our habitat now for the next, you know, foreseeable future, and we have to learn to have a routine, we have to learn to do all these things, and that could be episode 2. And, you know, I was kind of expecting that kind of layout. And I'm okay not doing it. It just kind of felt weird at the first episode. The first good chunk of it feels like it's setting up a slow build of that, and then
I think that's it, because ultimately that's not what the show is. And that's fine.
Yeah.
But you tricked me into thinking it was with the first half of the episode. Whereas instead, if you start in the bunker, we're X amount of years later, and you go, this is where we are, and then show me how we got here, I'm never going to go, when am I getting that moment? Why am I not seeing this?
I think perhaps the biggest problem with that I'm only just thinking about now, is that it got me into wanting what the first half of this episode was. Like, I was actually looking forward to just, let's just have this slow build of living down here all season. Like, I was up for that. And then no, we're rushing past all that, and then we're going to do this stuff after. And I'm like, okay, that's fine, but
it's a little bit disappointing, isn't it?
But
but not in its own fault, in that sense. You know, it's not that anything that comes after it's bad. It's just disappointing because of, I thought I was getting this, and then, okay, it's something different. Okay, let's see what that is. But it's not what I wanted now.
Yeah. But so I think I'll say spoilers right now, just so we can talk about some stuff that comes after. I would still recommend giving it a try. If you like this type of story, I still think there's stuff in there to merit a watch.
I do think it's relatively stylish. There's some constantly these really ominous, creepy shots of the door of the bunker.
Yeah. The location has presence.
And some gorgeous shots of the rain at the start. You know, the rain
Oh
clouds.
yeah, they do all these like sort of bird's eye shots, like following a drop of rain down in slow motion, and it hits a leaf, and it's like, you know, splashing on the leaf. It's all very 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 hyper time kind of feeling to it.
Yeah, oh, that stuff's nice.
So full spoilers then for the rest of the episode. So she does eventually decide to go, because that was a big thing at the start of the episode. Is she almost goes out to try and go for her dad, because the big thing is her dad rushes her out of school. We get like and I like the opening of her, like, you know, her friends are waiting on her for this exam, because it's like a group presentation they have to do, and she's the one who's got all the material, because she's the brainy one. And I'm like, okay, that's fine, because we're setting up that she's a smart kid, and that she can maybe rise to the occasion. She might not want to, but she has the ability to actually do it.
Yeah, I mean, you say that. She voluntarily rewrites all their stuff and goes, here, just read it. You don't need to know it, just read the words.
Which, yeah, I mean, it shows that she's smart, but she's also, like, maybe doesn't have the patience to teach someone else, which could also be an interesting arc for her, because she's going to have to teach her brother how to do things.
Yeah, exactly.
But she's, you know, she and her dad comes out, he's like, no, screw the exam, you're coming with me, all of you go home now, blah, and he's like, okay, right, so we're setting this thing up, they're in the car, they're speeding off, they get to the bunker. He gets them in and says, like, okay, I have to go do something. I can stop it. I can save this and stop it all. Your brother's really important. Don't let anyone get to your brother. He's the key to all this. And the key to all this line did make me roll my eyes a little bit, because it's a very cliched line. There was a couple of lines of dialogue that, and it makes me wonder though, is it a cliche in the original language?
That's the thing. I'm wondering, is some of this getting lost in translation? Are we getting?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll say it's that because they'll understand that.
Yeah, the turn of phrase is kind of what it means to us, and that's the best translation for it. But I wonder if, in Danish, that's not like an eye-rolling thing that everyone always says in a movie or a TV show.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So, you know, I don't want to like critique it too much for that, but there was one or two lines like that kind of stuck out. There was a couple of moments where Simone kind of talked to herself, and it felt kind of not when she was talking to the hazmat suit, because that was her talking to her father. That was fine.
Yeah.
But there was a couple of moments where she says, oh, I should never have opened that door. And I thought, oh, you didn't have to say that out loud. That was, I mean, it was fine. You could have just stayed quiet. I got it. I got the regret. You got your mother killed, right? I get it. Because as much as I wasn't mentioning the mother dying, it was very clear that the parents aren't around, given the fact that...
yeah, like I said, you kind of get that from the trailer.
Yeah, because obviously the mother's there, the dad gets his hazmat suit on, he's like, I'm going to go off and fix things, and we learn later on that there's other bunkers, so he might have went to another bunker.
Yeah, presumably this I can't remember the name of the company now. Began with an A. That he clearly worked for
Apollos, I believe.
Sure, he clearly works for them, and that's how he knows about this bunker. And it may be somewhat responsible in some ways if they knew about this was coming. Well,
I think the implication with the kid, because we get a flashback with Rasmus where he's like really sick and his dad's trying to like, you know, his mother's trying to talk into the father of, oh, give him this experimental thing you've been working on. So, I mean, the implication from this first episode that you would jump to is that whatever he created to help his son is actually in some way responsible for what eventually got into the atmosphere.
Possibly. I think it's whatever was going into the atmosphere, that was already going, and this is a vaccine, essentially. They knew it was coming. And it was building, and it was going to just happen soon. Because it was a byproduct of something that they were doing.
Well, what was the byproduct? The thing happening in general?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. I'm getting at that someone's responsible for this. That it's not just a natural occurrence.
Oh, yeah, definitely not. But I don't think their intention did that, but I think this
that's the thing. I'm thinking the father's some way responsible, but I don't think he's like intentionally done it. I think he's trying to fix it because he feels responsible.
Right. So what I assume is he's given the son a vaccine, so he can presumably go out in the rain and it'll all be fine.
Possibly. That might be a big like reveal at some point. It'll start raining again. I mean, if it even does still dangerously, because we don't know. Like, we
don't know. Yeah, we don't know if it was just a one-time thing and then it passed.
Yeah, it may have been like a month of this rain and it ruined everything, and then everyone who lived evacuated and it's whatnot. Because one of the best scenes actually, post time jump, is actually because she almost like goes out to find her dad and then she can't do it. She's too scared because the last time she opened the door, she got her mother killed because she wanted to try and help her father back inside, and it ended up being just a random truck driver who's like melting in the rain, and the mother, to save her kids, tackles him and goes out of the rain and dies. So now it's just the two of them. But
very dramatic, wasn't it?
Yeah, but realizing that they have to leave, Rasmus is getting a little bit tetchy. He's punching the mirror.
Yeah, not a fan of that cliche either.
Yeah, that was a bit of a cliche, but he's ginger, so I kind of expected it from him.
Look, gingers go out of their way to defy cliches. No. Okay, to defy conventional cliches. We have our own set of cliches that we conform to.
You're a walking cliche. Shut up. So she goes out. She goes out at night when he doesn't know about it. She puts on the hazmat suit and she goes out, and she almost immediately runs into a deer, kind of implying that things might be safe to walk around in now.
Well, this is what was interesting to me is...
Oh, okay. Yeah.
There was two ways. It's either, okay, things are okay, or whatever this virus was only affected humans.
Ah, yeah, okay. That's a very fair possibility. And she sort of follows the signs of the evacuation zones, and it's like at least a hospital, and she sees like, you know, all sorts of messed up stuff and like dead bodies that have been decaying for some time and everything else. And she comes back, and she basically, you know, leading up to the end of the episode, like, okay, we have to like leave properly. Like we're like there's nothing out there. We have to travel to somewhere. We have no food. At least get to another bunker. That has to be the plan. Because maybe the other bunkers are still stocked. They're not being used.
Yeah, because they know there's a bunch of them because when they first got there, they tried to contact the others. There was you know, big screens. Like there was 20 odd of them, I suppose.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
And she tried using the radio, and she got some random guy who tried to phone her dad for her.
Some kid in a basement.
Yeah. And again, I thinking that this is going to be more of a slow build with them trapped down there, I thought, oh, maybe she'll talk to this guy. That'll be like a running thing of the season where she'll talk to this guy. But then, of course, we've jumped 5 years, and there's been no indication that she's still talking to him.
No, I don't think so.
So, you know, this is the thing. But the end of the episode is that all of a sudden, while they're sleeping, all of the vents all get blocked. And it felt so weird that all 5 or whatever it was all get blocked at the same time. That I was like, okay, this feels intentional. Someone's outside doing something. Yeah. And Rasmus kind of wakes up. She's kind of, you know, she's already like really passed out and can't function. So he's just sort of getting to the top of the stairs. He's like, oh, let's open the door. It opens, and the big sort of reveal, the big, you know, cliffhanger we leave on is that there's some masked, I want to call them raiders because it's very Fallout. All these Fallout setters.
We mean gas masks, not just, you know,
yeah,
horror masks.
Yeah, they've all got gas masks on, yeah. Again, very Fallout. If you've played that video game, it's very much in that style. And they're like, okay, we got them outside. So whether or not they know who these people are, they know who it's, you know, it's Simone and Rasmus, and they're here for Rasmus, or are they just like, oh, we knew there was people in there and we wanted to get them out so we could go in? Like, is that?
I think that's more likely. They were like, okay, someone's in there. We want. I think they assume they've got supplies in there.
But look, they're in for a fun surprise.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, we got like maybe a week's food left.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's not gonna last you very long.
Yeah, good luck with that. And it makes me wonder though, like, why are these people here? Were some people randomly just immune to the rain, and that's why they've survived, or were they just hunkered down for the few months it took, the year it took?
It's passed, yeah.
Yeah, I don't imagine they're going to be very friendly, but maybe they'll subvert my expectations with that. I don't know.
I agree. I'm assuming hostility.
Yes, hostility. Yeah, and they may have all been men, so I could see it going down some really dark sort of potential with you know, all of a sudden we have this young woman.
No, it's true. I know. You know, just from reputation, Danish TV is very bleak in those sorts of regards.
Really, I don't believe I've watched any Danish TV, so that's news to me. But yeah, so that's the first episode of The Rain. How are you feeling about it? How are you feeling about watching more?
I'm definitely down to see another one, because this one, you know, like I said, it's a little bland in terms of, okay, it's just, okay, this is where we are. That's okay. But it really threw me with the pacing. So I want to see a regular episode in this time period.
Yeah, no, I get you. I mean, I think I liked more than I disliked, even though I do have my complaints and my criticisms. Because I think overall I just like the general premise appeals to me. I like the whole apocalypse, hunkered in a bunker. Like, you know, it's very much in my.
Yeah, it's definitely not a bad show by any means, at least based off this episode. Yeah. So it's just we'll definitely give episode 2 a look then, and we'll see how it goes. We are actually very busy right now, so it's the sort of thing where we're really shifting things around to make room for this, and it's like, you know, if we watch episode 2 and we're not feeling it, maybe we'll make the call after that. But right now, I am definitely game to watch some more and see how it goes. And I'm a little more hopeful for episode 2. See if you know, if it can just have one solid episode of, you know, just, okay, here's the pacing of what this show actually is.
Well, that's what we know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a real chance to come out swinging.
So yeah, it's an 8-episode season, so 7 left. We will be recording episode 2 on Monday, so you can expect that late Monday, early Tuesday, something in there. So that's the plan for right now. So by all means, let us know what you thought of this premiere in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv. Hey, I got it right that time. So that's the thing. Once again, for watching or listening, we always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?